acknowledge me, the one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops. Oh, when the Saints go 2-1 to start the season, 7th on the ladder going into the start of round 4. We've had the doubters. We've had 8 to 10 injuries on the injury list from the start of the season until right now. Starting to get some slowly but surely back. There's still King and Butler to return, hopefully this week, if not next week. 82-point victory over Richmond. Look, yes, I get it's just Richmond, so I'm not going to get carried away. But it was important after the start we had to put the foot down in the second half and just go smash them, and we did do that. So mission accomplished. We move on to the Power in Adelaide this Sunday at the Adelaide Oval. As for the round itself, well, we had Brisbane and Geelong. Geelong choked a 5-goal lead. The Brisbane Lions got the win there. The Giants choked a 5-goal lead, but different circumstances because there was a massive breeze in Tassie, hence why that's not so much of a choke as what Geelong's game was. We had West Coast put inaccurate skills and basic skill errors and basic mistakes that you could easily fix by actually thinking properly and hitting the right targets and not going for the impossible matchup and direction of where they're passing the ball. So they screwed for themselves in the Derby. We got a lot to go through, so let's get right into the thick of things. First off, we'll start off with this. If you want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/CooperG. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/CooperG. Now, check out any of my recent interviews that I've posted here on the channel. You would have just seen a trailer being literally released within hours of watching this episode with the newest interview, the newest Saints AFW star recruit, Charlotte Bascaran, that is posted on the channel right now. The trailer is. That video will be out tomorrow, so look forward to that or in the coming days. So, yeah, it's fantastic to get Charlotte on. Great move for her to join my Saints and a great acquisition for the Saints for sure. So as I said, Cameo already. If you want a personalized video message, cameo.com/CooperG. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees or any state league players you would like to see them on the podcast in a Gold King Challenge and or interview, please do send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. We've got Team of the Week to go through, my Supercoach score, Scoop Show's Bang, of course, which is going to be a very heated one this evening. And we're going to review round 3 and obviously preview the round 4 games. So let's start off with the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Well, there's 3 people in the firing line in Scoops Goes Bang this evening. 3 people. Kane Cornes, because again, he says ridiculous things. Tom Morris and Nathan Brown. Now, I'm going to start off with Kane again, the volcano. So, Kane, Jack McRae, another fantastic game, 31 disposals, like 12 score involvements, like 9 clearances. The top clearances and score involvements on the ground, had like 18 of his 31 disposals contested possessions, which was also the most on the ground. So again, he just dominates when he plays for the Saints, Jack McRae, this year. In all 3 games, he's been our best player or our second best player. And he's absolutely polled probably at least 6 of a possible 9 Brownlow votes. And if he hasn't, it just shows how rigged the AFL truly is with the Brownlow. Regardless of the fact of the votes and how that goes, regardless, he's been absolutely phenomenal. And Kane continues to run down Jack McRae. A caller who called in last week named Matt tried calling Kane yet again today and tried to, prove the point across. And Kane just kept cutting him off and brought up just rubbish. And even David King this time was cutting him off. It was just ridiculous. And Kane, that wasn't the only stupid comment he made this week and on the weekend. And it was pretty laughable, if you ask me. It relates to Cam Mackenzie. Kane Cornes says that Cam Mackenzie could win a Brownlow one day. I know Kane wants a reaction to people, and I suppose he's getting it, but there's solid opinions, there's fair opinions, and there's stupid opinions, and this is one of them. Cam Mackenzie hasn't even been getting a regular game for Hawthorn until this season, and even then, his spot's not guaranteed. If he has a few quiet weeks, he'll probably be straight out of the team. And that's not to say that Cam Mackenzie won't be a good player, but at Brownlow, there's levels. There's the elite category, there's this decent category, there's the solid category, and then there's average players and, the rest. Cam Mackenzie has only gotten a game so far this season properly. And if he ends up having a full consistent season, he'll still be on that average to good tier range. But only that. That's a ridiculous opinion yet again from Kane Cornes. But are you shocked at this point? He doesn't rate Jack McRae. Apparently, he doesn't have impact, yet he has the most contested possessions, clearances, and score vomits on the ground each and every bloody game the Saints has played so far in the 3 games we've played. But that's Kane for you right there. Now, the silly opinions didn't stop there this weekend, and somehow Kane Cornes' Cam Mackenzie comments was not the worst. In fact, also, we got another one. Not only the 3 individuals that I just mentioned, James Hurd said this about Luke Beveridge. Okay, now, all the chatter about Luke Beveridge is that he should be moved on. He's been there too long. The ball is all over the place. He plays players out of positions. He plays favourites. He plays players in the teams that shouldn't be playing. It's just all over the place. And they had a good win on the weekend, but still, that doesn't mean anything, right? They're still bang average, and even if they make the 8, they're not going to do any damage, right? So James Hurd says this, keeping in mind that Luke Beveridge won a premiership in 2016, although that was rigged with the umpiring that final series. But regardless, that was probably the best Luke Beveridge had coached around that time, obviously, right? And then James Hurd says this about 2025 Luke Beveridge. He's coaching better than ever before. Well, James, no wonder you've been taken out of the coaching ranks and now you're in the media. And now you're joining Kane Cornes in making ridiculous opinions. Kane Cornes is now on Channel 7. You're now taking his spot on Channel 9. So I see why you're making silly opinions, because Kane Cornes did that on Channel 9. He's now off Channel 9. So now you've got to take his spot and saying ridiculous opinions. And so does his former Channel 9 counterpart, Nathan Brown. Oh, boy. Nathan Brown. Oh, boy. When I go through all these takes, I please want you all to tell me which one's the worst one of the lot. James Hurd's comment about Luke Beveridge was ridiculous. Cam Mackenzie, Kane Cornes' comment was ridiculous. Now, this is Nathan Brown's one, which I think is probably... actually, I don't know which one's the worst. I would say this one that I'm about to read you, but I don't know at this point. They're all ridiculous. Nathan Brown on the Sunday Footy Show said this, and I quote, about Lloyd Meek, Hawthorn's ruck. I don't think it's a big statement to say Lloyd Meek is now the number 1 ruckman in the competition, according to Nathan Brown. Oh boy, wowee. Nathan Brown, as I just said with James Hurd, you've taken Kane Cornes' spot on the Sunday Footy Show for the ridiculous comments and opinions now, is it? Does Rowan Marshall exist? Does Tristan Cherry exist? Does Max Gawn exist? Does Tom De Koning exist? Does Jared Witts exist? Does Riley O'Brien even exist? Lloyd Meek's not even in the top 8 ruckman in the competition right now, let alone the number 1. That is just stupid. That is another stupid take. I see why they do this. They want reactions. They want to clickbait headlines, and they get it. But it's just embarrassing at this point, particularly for the ones that continually make these type of comments like Kane Cornes. Nathan Brown's clearly learned from Kane to talk rubbish, and, well, that's another rubbish take. Now, Tom Morris is the last one of the ridiculous takes that I heard of and that I have here that were made on the weekend. Tom Morris said this, and I quote, about Nick Watson. He said, I think the most underpaid player in the league at the moment is Watson. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wowee. Oh, boy. The most underpaid player, according to Tom Morris, is Watson from the Hawks. Seriously? Seriously. Oh, boy, wowee. For starters, I understand it's his second year and things can change quickly. But what form off his year and 3 games, or 4 games technically for Hawthorn, can you say he's underpaid? He's on a rookie-based contract for starters. And last year, all he did last year was duck and kick behinds. This year, he still ducks. Granted, he's had some solid games this year, some. But even then, it's okay. It's nothing outrageous. The only thing that's outrageous is that take from Tom Morris to say that Watson is the most underrated, underpaid player in the competition right now. that's just ridiculous. There's so many players you could go through that were on rookie base pay and having great seasons. Mason Wood is just a name off the top of my head that comes to mind. When he joined St Kilda as a delisted free agent, look how great he's been. He would have been on nothing when he joined the Saints, and now he's in the leadership group. He's helping young players in the side like Malira and a fair few others, Filippo, Caminiti, Sharman, etc. He's just doing a really good job, and he's just killing it on the weekend. 3 goals. He got that the week prior. He's a great mark. He's a key part to the Saints forward line and wing position. He's someone that will be getting underpaid right now. And there's plenty more examples, and there's probably some even more higher level players I could mention on top of Mason Wood. But there's just one name that just randomly comes to mind, and he is being paid less than what people are saying Watson should be paid. But the pay figures people get thrown out these days are just ridiculous anyway. But yeah, that's just another horrendous take from a journo this week. Tom Morris, Nathan Brown, James Hurd, if you even want to call him a journalist. I would more call him an ex-coach, but anyway. And Kane Cornes. So, yeah, that's just ridiculous. And all those 4 need to lift their game. It's pathetic. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed that edition of the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Right. Now, it is time to go through my round 3 AFL team of the week. Now, as of right now, the Rising Star nominee for the round hasn't been mentioned. There's a few players that generally are a real good shout for this round's Rising Star. Toby Travaglia played his debut for the Saints, did really well. Christian Moraes for the Power. And there was another player, Harvey Langford, could get it as well. I'm pretty sure there was a 4th player. So it could be any one of them. It'll probably be announced by the time I've published this video. But Connor O'Sullivan got it last week that I didn't get to announce then. So congratulations to Connor O'Sullivan from Geelong, who got it. I'm surprised he got it in the week we beat them. But, it's Geelong, and it's it's the AFL's favourite club. And, normally when you lose, you don't win these things or get nominated for these things in this case. But, Geelong, the rules are different, just like, everything else is. And exactly everything that Geelong get looked after in every department. But yeah, here we are. But well done to Connor O'Sullivan for that. So yeah, let's now go through my Scoops round 3 AFL team of the week. Really hard team to select this week. So again, if you're going to say, why is this guy in there? Why is that guy not in there? How about you say why and comment down below why instead of just saying it. All right. The Scoops round 3 AFL team of the week. From the back line, the pockets, Caleb Daniel and Jimmy Webster. Fullback, Sam Collins. Back line, the flankers, Jack, 40 disposals, Sinclair. And Rory Laird in game 250. Well done, Rory Laird. Centre half back, the underrated Harry Himmelberg. The wingers, Sam Davison and Lockie Whitfield. Sediman, Matt Rowell. Half forward line, the flankers, Mitch Owens. 4 goals, could have got 5. Larky, centre half forward. And the other half forward line player, Mason Wood. No surprise. Forward line, the pockets, Brody Kemp, who kicked a great 5-goal performance. And Seth Campbell. Full forward, all hail the king, Ben King. The ruck, Tom De Koning. Rovers, Noah Anderson and Jai Simpkin. The interchange consists of Jack McRae, Zach Merritt, Harris Andrews, Tex Walker, and Max Hall. Emergencies, Miles Bergman, Jesse Hogan, and Tom Liberatore. Now, reasons for these selections, I know that will come with my selection, so let's get that on the screen for you all. So, Caleb Daniel, 30-odd disposals, 34 disposals, just really clean with his disposals. He's 1-2 disposal really good. Like, he would get the kick out, he would kick 30 metres forward, then he would run to get the hard ball. And there was even some higher up the ground where he was doing that. The roos were bad, but he was really good. And he's the only reason they didn't get slaughtered by much more than they did. Jimmy Webster played a key role on Richmond small forwards who had no impact in the game. And I just thought, he had a lot of brave contests where he went back with the flight and intercepted himself in front of Tom Lynch or someone that was on the lead for Richmond and put himself in a position where he could have got cleaned up. He's a very courageous player, Jimmy, and I thought he did really, really well. Sam Collins, like 12 intercept possessions. I don't need to say any more, and Melbourne's forwards were absolutely useless. Jack Sinclair, the man who has won a Scoops medal before, 40 disposals. It wasn't just disposals that got him in. He's just so clean with his disposal. He's our best ball user by far. Future captain of the club too, I feel. It should be now. Just a great player. And, you can trust Jack Sinclair when he's got the ball. You know he's going to do something good with it. And on the weekend, he showed that yet again. Harry Himmelberg's just been flying under the radar. And I don't like that he's not getting talked about in these discussions this whole year. Getting around 20 disposals, like 8 to 12 marks a game, a lot of intercept possessions. He's just not getting any recognition, and he will get the recognition from me yet again. I believe this is the second time he's appeared in the Team of the Week already. Rory Laird, game 250, superstar, going back on the half-back line, and he's just doing very well for himself. And congrats to Rory Laird on game 250, who had 34 disposals in his milestone game, as you can see on the screen there with Tex Walker and his good mate Brodie Smith, who is not being selected for the Crows at the moment. Sam Davison for the Bulldogs, they had a close win over Carlton and 32 disposals. He was phenomenal. If Sam Davison didn't play for the Bulldogs, I don't think they win that game, plain and simple. He was playing really well for them. A guy who's only 24, but first-year player in the AFL system coming from Richmond's VFL side. He was just being very good. I was hoping St Kilda would draft him because I knew he would do what he's doing now. And the Bulldogs are reaping the rewards for bringing in Sam Davison. Matt Rowell, 35 disposals, a lot of clearances. His efficiency wasn't the best, but he had a lot of clearances and everything like that, so he deserved a spot. Lockie Whitfield, 34 disposals, a hell of a lot of meters gained, and that's in Tassie, that's very important. And his efficiency was really up there as well, Lockie Whitfield, so he was a lock. Mitchie Owens kicked 4, could have kicked 5 if he didn't pass to Collard in the goal square for a minute to go. But he was freaking awesome. Ben Miller's had a good year for the Richmond so far, but he took him to the cleaners and Jacob Blight. Mitchie Owens is a good player. And he can show, if he can kick straight, he's on fire, Mitchie Owens. Could have kicked a great left foot goal, Mitch Owens. Really impressed with his game on the weekend. And if he can produce that for most parts of the year, he'll be a good Tim Membry replacement in the top 3 taller forwards of the Saints, along with Mason Wood and Max King and Cooper Sharman. So they'll be a better mix if they're all on fire. Speaking of Mason Wood, 3 goals, 16 disposals, 8 marks. I mean, what more could you ask from a veteran that can play up at half forward and through the wing as well, playing more forward lately with the injuries in our forward line, and we're slowly getting some of those players back, like Cooper Sharman on the weekend. Larkey kicked 4. I mean, do I need to say more? Brodie Kemp kicked 5, and he was the only reason why Carlton actually were within a firing shot, along with the ruck I've got in the team, Tom De Koning, around 28 disposals again and 28 hit-outs, a goal. Superstar Tom De Koning hopefully joins the Saints. Noah Anderson, 35 disposals and decent contested possessions and efficiency, along with clearances and tackles. Ben King kicked 4, so it was going to make it. Seth Campbell, I thought, now he did kick 3 goals with 12 disposals and had those 3 goals in the first half. But, I feel like for Richmond, when they were actually in that first half, it was really a lot to do with Seth Campbell. He took a good mark from the side of the pack. He waited for the ball to go down the forward line and jumped from the side and jumped in front of the pack and took a courageous mark. And that's the efforts that Adam Uze were wanting from the Richmond players. And Seth Campbell was quieter in the second half. There wasn't that many drastic standouts for small forwards this week. So Seth Campbell took that spot, but he still played really well and probably was Richmond's best player. But that's not saying much because most of their players did nothing, especially after half-time. Went through the midfielders and except for Jai Simpkin, who was terrific at goal, 31 disposals, decent amount of clearances. I think it was 9 off the top of my head. Just had an all-round great game in the midfield for Jai Simpkins, having a really good year to start. Jack McRae, the man who's appeared in all 3 Team of the Weeks for when St Kilda's played, and rightfully so. 31 disposals, 18 contested possessions, 12 score involvements, 9 clearances, decent amount of meters gained, decent efficiency. But yeah, apparently Kane says he has no impact. Remember that, Kane. I want to keep bringing these up each and every week. until you admit that you were wrong. If you don't, I'm just going to keep bringing it up anyway. Now that's 3 games that Jeff McRae has got over 30 disposals and had the top clearances, score involvements, and contested possessions on the ground, if not top in the top 3. And he hasn't fallen out of that in any of the key stats in all 3 St Kilda games this year. When's Kane going to acknowledge Jeff McRae's actually a good player and not run him down? Funny, last time I checked, he actually didn't mind him when he was at the Bulldogs, but now because he hates St Kilda and Jeff McRae's at St Kilda, hasn't got a positive thing to say about St Kilda or Jeff McRae. So I find that very, very coincidental there. Zach Merritt had 34 disposals. He had a really good game as well for the Bombers. Harris Andrews was the next key defender to choose. Miles Bergwijn, who's on the emergency list, was the next choice. And Tex Walker kicked 4, had a good impact for the Crows in Royal Lairds 250th. Now, people are going to say Max Hall, and as I said, there wasn't many small forwards that were dominating. I thought Seth Campbell and Max Hall were the 2 best small forwards for the round. Max Hall had 2 goals. He had 18 disposals, but it wasn't just that. A lot of efforts he put around the ground that, being at the game, you can notice more than on TV, and he was just putting a lot of effort in. He was on the lead. He was providing the space for some other players to lead as well. And, I just thought he was really impactful. He kicked 2 nice goals, which is in my vlog, and you haven't checked that out. It's on the channel. Probably be pinned down below as well in the comment section or something like that. If not, check the recent videos. He was just really good. And he was really good in round 1 against the Crows. But I thought this was his best game of the 3. The impact he made, he was standing out, but a lot of players for St Kilda obviously dominated. So I thought I'd give him the recognition that he absolutely deserves. And he's done really well. And he's a great recruit from the Box Hill VFL side mid-season last year. And just shows, though, if you get an opportunity, they may surprise you. And Maxwell may have surprised some, but he's done really well, and I'm happy for him. So the emergencies, Miles Bergwijn, as I said, was the next defender to choose. Jesse Hogan was the next forward, and Tom Liberatore was the next midfielder to be chosen. Comment down below what you think, who you would have changed and why. So if you want to join my Super Coach Fan Club League, it is 300 to 10, as that's the code. If you want to join my league, I'm 31st in that league. I have scored, which I might as well now move on to Super Coach. I scored 1,907. I'm still in the top 10%. Overall ranking, I've gone up like 900 or so, which is pretty good. Not a massive jump, but it's a jump nonetheless. So I'm happy with that. Hopefully can crack in the top 5% very shortly. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Now, there's some trade goss that I want to mention for Supercoach. I don't like mentioning names too much, so I don't want people to copy me. But because I know there is people that are going to be watching this that do copy my team, they know who they are because they're on my live stream. Some of them people. So now I am planning at this stage to do 3 trades. Which would be my second boost. But one key thing I want to point out, I said last week, and this week is also a big week, maximize on these players now. For example, I was speaking to someone that has Christian Petrarca. He's 523,000. They had 7,000 left in their salary cap. They're like, Scoops, I should trade out Petrarca. I want to trade him out. And I'm like, okay, you got to balance this out. Are you trading out 2 players? Because you're basically going to have to get more cash, like 50K, 30 to 50K more. Are you really going to drop a solid rookie down to a lower ranked rookie or someone that might not be playing, or, someone that will be playing that may not make the impact of that 180K or so midfielder? And I'm like, you got to balance it out. So if you're going to burn 2 trades, is it worth it? So you got to balance it out. Is that 30K in extra trades you're wasting actually worth it? If you're going to be using more trades early, you're going to make sure you're benefiting from it, not like going sideways. You got to make sure you're going up, like with the rookies, the cash cows, the ones that are going up in money. You got to get them now. You don't trade out players for the sake of trading them out. Sam DeConing, what do people do with him? I see some people are doing it with some premium players. What do you do with Lockie Neal? Number 1, Lockie Neal's got Richmond this week, and he's been tagged 2 of the 3 games they've played. So I would hold on Lockie Neal in terms of trading. I would wait and see. As for some other players, if players' roles have changed, if you pick some up at the start of the season and their roles have changed throughout the year, or they're mixing between roles, one game they're playing forward, then they're playing wing, playing halfback, playing midfield, and they're not benefiting your scores, then get rid of them and do it now before they dramatically drop. If guys have got break-evens over 150, or rookies that have break-evens of like 40 plus. There's no point in keeping them. They're going up like 8 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand max. And if they were to somehow score an 80, and their break-even the week after might be like 5, and they score a 30, you're just going up like 5K again. It's just like you're wasting it, and you're missing out on these guys that you should be capitalizing on. So guys like Nathan O'Driscoll, I don't want to say too many, but Nathan O'Driscoll is one I'll say. Xavier Lindsay, I did bring in this week, so that was a jinx. He may only miss 1 to 2 weeks as of right now, so lucky for him, he's avoided an ACL injury, which is great that he hasn't got that. But like, do you hold him? I would be holding him. So if you've got him in, whether you brought him in last week or started him from round 1, keep him in. If you're trading him out, you're just being silly. As for some of those premiums, do not trade a premium because they've had one bad score. Only if it's going to benefit your team, because you're not burning trades just for the sake of burning trades, just because you want to do a trade or makes you feel better. You got to look at the pros and cons and see if the pros outweigh the cons. And if the pros don't outweigh the cons, do not get rid of them. Just do what's going to benefit your team, but don't burn trades. But you got to also keep in mind, if you're burning trades, you better be nailing these. So you don't want to come to the back end of the year, we got less trades, and then you've stuffed up your earlier trades, and then you start getting injuries. You got 6 weeks to go, and you got 3 trades left, and then you got injuries, and then you're like, oh shit, well, I wasted them early. I went sideways trading for no reason because I wanted to rage trade a player off one bad game or a couple of bad games. So you got to make sure you nail it, and make sure you capitalize on the players that are going up in price. That's one thing I'll say. And if you're pondering whether you get a certain player that's going up 50 grand 1 week, get them now, because if you don't get them now, their biggest jump is their first 2 games of going up in price. Then after that, it'll start slowly going down, especially for the premium to mid prices. For the rookies, it'll all depend on what they're scoring. So if a player scores 100 1 week, they're probably going to have a good break even for 2 or 3 weeks. If they're a higher ranked rookie like an O'Driscoll or like a Mitch Nevitt or someone like that, Zach Reed and that, they're going to have to get now scores around 50 to go up a decent amount still. Guys that are at the 117K range, if they're scoring 50s, that's good. But if they get 130, you need them to get an 80 or 90. Otherwise, it's just going to stuff up your scores overall. So that's something you've got to keep an eye out on. So 300, 210. This is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So subscribe on those platforms if you haven't already. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching this and you're not subbed, please do so. You'll be doing me a favor. I put a lot of effort into this channel for you all. This channel is not just for me, it's for all of you. I know some people that do these channels for clicks and for views. I don't do this for clicks or views or attention. I do this because I love doing what I do, and this is what I want to do. And I always want to get the people involved. Hence why I do live streams and interact with everyone. I don't see other YouTubers doing that, and if they do, they don't read the whole comment sections. I do, if it's obviously worth reading out, of course, and appropriate to read out. So I love doing this each and every week. Every single video I do, whether it's 5 videos a week, whether it's 5 videos in a month, I still love doing them all for each and every one of you. And the players I have on, cannot thank them enough for what they do. The coaches and everyone else that I've had on. People always ask me, who's the best guest you've had on? Everyone I've had on is the best. Sure, there may be some that I've had on more or talked to more, but everything like that, but they're all fantastic. I mean, let's face it, I wouldn't get them on if I didn't enjoy having them on. So there you go. All right, now it's time to go review the weekend's games, shall we? Round 3 games. Right. So we'll start off with Thursday night at Marvel Stadium. It was Essendon 72, Adelaide 60, Essendon by 12 points. Well, Bourbon was good. But again, Horne-Francis was absolutely shit. Just speaking the truth here. Kane Cornes wants to talk so highly of Horne-Francis. Here's another bad game, and Kane Cornes is making excuses for him yet again. It's just laughable, really, because Jack McRae has dominated this year and not got the appreciation he deserves. So, it's like, he's just been getting a lot of love, Jason Horne-Francis, for poor games. Yeah, Jack McRae's been killing it, and Kane Cornes has been shitting on his game, saying he has no impact. Well, Horne-Francis has done nothing all season, Kane. So how about you start respecting Jack McRae and maybe saying that your favourite player, Jason Horne-Francis, isn't doing well this year, and stop making excuses for why he's not doing well and actually own up to the mistake about Jack McRae. But Essendon, Zach Merritt was pretty good. Xavier Dersman, the X-Man, the former power player, did really well against his old side. But yeah, credit to Essendon for getting the win. The power, I'm sure the Port fans will be blaming Ken Hinkley for the loss, and when they win, it's Josh Carr. It's just their fans are a disgrace. They really are. Disrespectful to Ken Hinkley, they are. And when they win, it's Josh Carr. It's nothing to do with Ken Hinkley, apparently. If I was Ken, I would just leave and they can pay him out, because the disrespect he's getting now and last year is ridiculous. Friday night at Marvel Stadium, Carlton 75, Western Bulldogs 83, Bulldogs by 8 points. The Bulldogs got the win, but they got them at the Blues at the worst time when they're going bad. They're all over the place. The chat about Michael Voss should be getting sacked is ridiculous now. If this keeps up halfway through the year, absolutely it should be a consideration to let Voss go. But the abuse Carlton fans are giving Michael Voss, like I said last week, is absolutely atrocious. Fake fans, some of them are. Some of these Carlton supporters online just posting rubbish and throwing their memberships out, or bagging players and bagging journos for talking the truth about the Carlton Football Club's form at the moment. It's just not on, and they're the definition of fake fans and shouldn't be given any credit for anything they get. And it's just ridiculous. Right, the next game to go through, Sam Davison and Liberatore were the Bulldogs' best players, and Brody Kemper's great for Carlton, and Brody Kemper's 5 goals, and Tom De Koning was fantastic with 28 disposals of goal and about 28 hit-outs. Beat Tim English. Question marks over Tim English's form at the moment. I think if they actually had another ruck, he should be dropped, but they don't have another one, so he obviously will stay in. Probably would have anyway, but his form has been bad. Saturday games, Melbourne 62, Gold Coast 120. It was like 9 goals and 8 goals in the second half for Gold Coast, so that's like 17 goals. It was thereabouts. Might be 15 goals they got overall in the second half. Gold Coast, Melbourne like 2. Atrocious. Melbourne lost by 58 points to the Gold Coast Suns at the MCG. Is this more Gold Coast were good and Melbourne are bad? I think it's a bit of both, but more so Melbourne are bad. Simon Goodwin will probably be sacked by the end of the year. Now, this one's more understandable that he should be sacked, as he's got the players and they're doing absolutely crap. The turmoil in Melbourne that was last year with Pickett and Oliver and Petrarca. Max Cornes had some stuff going on, and he apparently spoke recently about some of the players, according to Tom Morris, in some article he referenced on Footy Furnace or whatever show that was last night on Channel 9. Max Cornes was saying some things about the experienced players, leadership players not doing the right things. It's just a shit show at Melbourne at the moment in the AFL side. So changes need to be made, and I think Simon Goodwin is one of the first ones that needs to be gone. They should trade out Christian Petrarca. He's played absolutely poor this year. Oliver hasn't had the impact he would like, especially on the weekend. I know he had decent numbers, but he didn't do anything with it. For the Suns, though, Ben King was great. Anderson and Rao, Miller kicked 3 with 23. Jared Witts was great in the ruck and beat Max Cornes. So, lots going right for the Suns and a lot going wrong for Melbourne. The Saints won 35, smashed the Tigers in the end, 53. St Kilda won by 82 points. Mason, Wood, Higgins, Caminiti done all right down in the back line. Marshall was solid in the ruck. Sinclair with 40 disposals, Jack McRae with 31. I went through all them stats earlier. Don't need to do it again. The whole team did really well. Max Hall, as I said, was a highlight for me. Ryan Mansell getting 3 weeks, by the way, was absolutely deserved. Now, I understand people will say, but Jimby got nothing and 4 other players didn't. No, that's correct. They did get nothing. Jimby, I understand why he got nothing, but now we see more and more. They should have made a statement then the AFL said, anything else I'm missing, you're getting suspended. And we've seen like 4 other instances do it, and then now another one. But this one was a little bit different because Liam O'Connell got shoved intentionally by Ryan Mansell, who has a bad record at the getting suspended. Also got to keep that in mind. And he had no care for Liam O'Connell. He just shoved him into Tom Lynch and the other Saints player. So that's his fault. He deserves a suspension. Is it worth 3 weeks? That's up for debate, but he definitely deserves a suspension as he intentionally did that. So that's very dangerous. So now the AFL, though, have to make a stand on every single player that does it has to be given 3 weeks. Simple as that, concussed or not. Because that's very dangerous, and they should not go off the outcome. It should be just 3 weeks automatically now from every player going forward. But that won't happen when it's one of the most protected players in the comp, or a big name player like Patrick Dangerfield. He'll get protected just like Geelong and he have always been, or someone like that. So we'll wait and see. The Saints were awesome. Richmond were all right in the first half. So says Seth Campbell. The rest of the Richmond players were no good and don't deserve to be paid this week at all. Absolutely useless. Now, the Friday night games, not the Friday night, Saturday night games. We have Brisbane 70, Geelong 61, Brisbane by 9 points. McCluggage was great. Zorko was great. And Geelong choked a 5-goal lead yet again. Was there any good plays for Geelong? No, not really. Jeremy Cameron's not in great form. Same for Stengel. Bailey Smith wasn't great. The other thing he was doing was having our Brisbane fans on the weekend. Tom Stewart didn't play. What a shock. Geelong always making late changes, so they should be questioned for that as well. But again, it's Geelong. They're the most protected club in the competition. Don't tell me otherwise. You're just talking shit at that point. Brisbane, credit for him in the second half to coming back. Geelong did start really well, and they just shit the bed and choked. It's simple as that. Hawthorn 76, GWS 64. Hawthorn by 12 points in Tassie. GWS didn't capitalise at the breeze in the third quarter, and that's why they lost. Plain and simple. I don't think they scored a goal in the third quarter, GWS, with the bloody wind. So that's why they lost, plain and simple. Whitfield was great. I know there was a quarter. Hawthorn didn't score much in the last either. I think they only got one goal, Hawthorn, or none. So they didn't either. But GWS, that was the damage there. They had 5-goal lead in the first quarter. Hawthorn hit the front at half time. Both had the massive breeze, so it's not really a choke because there's a breeze. Unlike the Geelong game, they just shit the bed and choked. But yeah, credit to the Hawks. 4 wins in a row. Having a great start. They got lucky. I reckon they stole this one from the Giants in a way. But yeah, credit to them for getting the win. They won 4 in a row. See how they go. Next game is they've got the bye with Essendon this week. The Sunday games, Adelaide 114 defeated North Melbourne 78, Adelaide by 36. I had to laugh that people said that actually North Melbourne were playing well this week. I actually had to laugh. Were they drastically terrible? No. Were they close to winning? No, they were not. People were saying they were actually good. I didn't know you lose by 6 goals now, and it's a great win, great effort. And they could have got smashed. So I don't see this love fest with North Melbourne now is just a bit ridiculous, I think. I mean, honourable losses now. They lost to the Bulldogs, who had like 6-7 players out of that time. They shit the bed there. They won last week, and people were carrying on against Melbourne. And then now they got slaughtered by the Crows. So, I knew this would happen. People did this to Richmond, and there you are. Sheasel, what the hell is he doing? What role is he playing? Is he even impacting the team as to his capabilities? Clarko's going to play him in the midfield or at halfback and stick him to that one spot. Jai Simpkin was awesome in the midfield. Tristan Cherry wasn't the same. He was injured a little bit. People have got him in Supercoach. What are you doing? And you're hoping he goes well. If he scores another 80, are you going to get rid of him? He's one of the players that you don't just get rid of. Otherwise, you'd be silly and doing a sideways trade and wasting a trade and probably wasting money potentially if you're upgrading him as well, even though he's one of the highest priced rucks in Supercoach. The Derby, West Coast 68, Freo 106, Freo by 38 points. Now, this wasn't a smashing. I saw Fremantle people saying they should have won by more. They were a bit inaccurate in front of goal. They were inaccurate in front of goal. But West Coast just made dumb skill errors and dumb decision-making from veteran players like Jaden Hunt. And there was other players. He had kicked a great goal, Jaden Hunt. And I thought he actually tried his heart out. So I'll give him that. But like dumb decision-making from plenty of players. He was included in that. There's a few of the younger players as well. Like, for example, you got the ball 60 metres out and you're on the wing. You've got a guy on his own in the centre of the ground in the forward line, about 30 out directly in front. And you're going to a guy freaking one-on-one in a bad position on the boundary, about 35, 45 out. It's like dumb decision-making right there. And that's exactly why West Coast aren't a good side, because they're making dumb skill execution like that. And their ball movement is not good. It's shown at times throughout the game that they can do it. They're just not doing it enough. And I'm sure that's what's pissing Andrew McWalter off, that they're just doing this. And Andrew McWalter, stop putting Elijah Hewitt as the sub and play Bo Allen, please and thank you. Tim Kelly had a solid game on the weekend, as did Ryan Marrick for Freo, Sarong and Brayshaw, and Nathan O'Driscoll were their better players. Now let's wrap this episode up by previewing the round 4 games, shall we? All right, so as I said, Essendon and Hawthorn will have the bye. Thursday night at the MCG. All these times are Victorian time, by the way. Thursday night at the MCG, we have Collingwood hosting Carlton, 7:30. I'm going for the Pies by 38 points. Friday night at GMHBA Stadium at 7:40. We've got Geelong and Melbourne. I'll be going for Geelong to win this one by 20 points. Saturday, 1:20 at People First Stadium. 1:20 on Saturday, Gold Coast and Crows. I'll be tipping Gold Coast in this one as they are at home. Saturday afternoon at the MCG, 4:15 p.m. Richmond and Brisbane. I'll be tipping Brisbane this one by 85 points. Saturday night at Marvel Stadium at 7:35 p.m. North are hosting Sydney. I'll be tipping Sydney in this one by 38 points, as I think they are the far better side. Simple as that. The next game to go through, shall we? On Sunday, 1:10 at NG Stadium, at Giant Stadium. 1:10, it's GWS hosting West Coast. The Giants will win this one by 67 points. Sunday, 3:20 at the Adelaide Oval. It's Port Adelaide hosting my Saints. I'll be tipping St Kilda in this one by 16 points. Hopefully, Max King and Dan Butler are back in the side, with Keeler potentially going out for King. And as for Liam O'Connell, who's out with concussion, Stocker may come back in. Liam Henry's a chance. Hugh Boxall. We'll have to wait and see. But hopefully Butler is back. Collard had a good game too on the weekend, so he'll probably retain his spot. So Saints by 16 points. And the last game of the round at Optus Stadium, 5:10 p.m. Victorian time on Sunday. Freo hosting the Western Bulldogs. I'll be tipping Freo in this one by 5 points. This game can go either way. An injury update for two Western Bulldogs players. Marcus Bontempelli is out for at least another 3 to 5 weeks. So this gather round chat was rubbish, as I expected. And Adam Treloar is out for another 5 to 6 weeks for the Bulldogs. So they won't be seeing those players for at least 3 to 6 weeks. Thank you all for watching Kick It to Scoops tonight. Check out the interview tomorrow with Charlotte Baskerand, the newest Saints AFLW star recruit. And if you want to see any other AFLW players, AFL players, up-and-coming draftees, or any state league players on the podcast for a Gold King challenge and or interview, please do send me a message on Instagram, AFL Info Live, and hopefully we can get something sorted. Thank you all. WrestleMania 2 is only around 18 to 20 days away. And all aboard the Filippo train, who's also about 3 or so weeks away. All aboard the Filippo train. Then, now, forever, together. Go Saints. Yeet. Yeet. Acknowledge me. The one.